Right, so here we are with the next video. We're on to a customer repair. So we've completed, well, we're going to complete box 29 because we're going to look at the SWR meter that Alan sent us in box 29. Then there's a power supply to do in box 29, which we'll probably do another day. Today we're going to do a customer repair because we did one of our sets, which is one which Alan donated, which was the Fidelity 1000 yesterday. So we're going to do this customer repair. So we're doing one customer repair, one of our sets, so that it's fair for everybody. So switch the test gear on. This is quite unusual because it isn't a CB radio. So I've got a covering letter. I'll be careful how I open this. I don't want him being inundated with mail order catalogues. This is from Jamie. It's a Jesan SWR38 SWR meter. New bulbs and case screws. Oh, right. Have I seen SWR meters with bulbs in? Right. Oh, it's a deviation meter, is it? Oh, that's the attraction. I must have done one of these before. Right. Well, they don't have bulbs. Oh, do they? No, they don't have bulbs in them, but... Right, I'm going to have to get onto him because we've probably had one before which somebody's put bulbs in, but they don't have bulbs. So I've got just here I've got the Fidelity 1000 we were doing yesterday on the bench. So I presume this is 12 volts. It says 12 volts on the back. I must say we don't do this kind of thing. Obviously we've allowed him to send this in, but it's not something we do. Now, how does this actually work? So deviation meter, you're going to have an FM you're going to have an FM receiver, so that's what this will all be. What I don't want to do is upset AM mod because I won't be able to calibrate that because I've got nothing kicking around that's AM. So we need to plug this into our test set. And we discover that the sockets are loose. So I'm going to have to take this across to the organ workshop where there may be some spanners. Not that we use spanners in organs either. So all I can do is do those finger tight in here. So I need to borrow a patch lead from somewhere. We'll plug this into our Fidelity 1000. Now my worry is always with these type of hobby level deviation meters is Jesan branded, so chances are it's intended for the European market, and so if it's spot frequency, will it work on UK channels? Mark's got one, and it's a Midland, and it only works on a specific channel because it's crystal controlled, and that's, you know, like channel 20 of CPT band, you know, so it's pretty useless because most of the stuff we're working on isn't CPT, like 99.9% of it. So I've got that connected up. We're going to go to 12 volts to suit that, which will be fine for the CB as well. I'll switch this set on. We'll put it on channel 20. And let's see what happens. So we're going to be in 10 watt scale. Matcher off. Want that in calibrate, I expect. Whoa, that wasn't good, was it? So that's both calibrate. So hopefully this will say, I'm going to put picture in picture on. This will say if we've got the right meter on here. So this CB set was set. We're at a lower voltage now because it was 13.8 volts. So it's 2.5 watts at 12.5 volts. So what's it saying if we now go into power? You know, it's just under 3. You know, that's pretty good. And on low power, the CB's doing on, because I say it's limited, we've got it on 12.5 volts. It's 150 milliwatts. Will this let's put it in the 1 watt scale and press calibrate. Calibrate in for 1 watt. It won't. Okay. No, so it can't do that. Right, we'll go back to the 10 watt scale. And it's saying just under 3. Now we'll go to low power and see where it reads under the 1. And it does read, you know, you could say that was less than half. So you could do that. So that seems fine. So deviation, this is the worry. So if I switch our test set to deviation, we'll do the wallow. We'll put it in the right mode. Wallow, and it's just wah. It's averaging around about the 2.2, and it's peaking at 2.5. So put this into deviation. wallow, wallow. It's absolutely miles out. But it might not be intended to work on this frequency, so it should be up the 2 there, because we've done the calibrate. Let's just prove that. Oh, we're back on. I'm on low power again, aren't I? Right, so we calibrated. Now we're going to FM deviation. Wallow, 1 2 1 2 wallow. So it's showing 1.1 1.5, 1 1/4 when it quite clearly isn't on ours. But I don't know. I think we're going to have to get out. You know, this is one of the faffs that we don't really want to get into. We're going to have to get out a CPT set, aren't we? Because this might be only suitable for CPT. Right, so it's not working right, and we've got some dry joints underneath. Of course, it's a bit of a swine to take apart, it goes without saying. I'm getting a constant reading, and then the deviation shows much lower than it should do. I hope we don't have to change all the capacitors in it. So basically we appear to have got deviation preset there. I think that's the modulation one. I can't test that, I've nothing AM. That appears to be the 1 watt setting, the 10 watt setting, the 100 watt setting. So really we can only concentrate on the 10 watt one, and we've got that. I've set that so that it's the same as the power as the radio, which is just under. It's just about 3 watts. I'll tell you what, we could be a bit closer than that. That's bang on between the 2 and the 4. So just check the power on the radio. It's just under the 3. So that's. Don't really want to increase it. I'll tell you what, I'll take it up to 13.8. We'll risk this. I'll take it up to 13.8. And it's a bit nearer the 4. So yeah, that's the deviation 1 2. Why isn't that now working? The only thing that requires power is the deviation meter. 1 2 1 2 wallow, wallow. It's reads a little bit under. So for 2.5 on the real meter, we've got 2.2. So you really on this one need to be aiming it around the 2 for the absolute peak of 2.5. It's supposed, according to the instruction book, it's supposed to cover like 2 megs to 30 megs. So I've tuned the receiver as best I can, and there we go. So we'll check our own SWR, which is about 1.5 on this aerial. I'll tell you what, we'll get the analyzer. Right, we'll see what the MFJ analyzer says with our SWR. So we want to we'll go for channel 20 to be fair, so 27.7. So our peak SWR is just under 1.2 and it's 27.4, which isn't ideal, is it? So on channel 1 we're only just over 1.2 to 1, and our worst channel is channel 40 and it's about 1.6. So we're normally using this, it's normally going to be about just over 1.5 where we're using it on channel 31. So really the aerial needs shortening, doesn't it? But we really can't be bothered to mess with things like that. And this is why the tests are so good, because I've not gone to mega trouble to get this SWR spot on, and so it would work better marginally if I did. So we want to see what the SWR is on channel 20, which is channel 27125. So get that somewhere near. There we go. So 7.9ish. It is bang on 1.5 to 1. So we'll take that off. And we'll put it into the Jesan SWR meter. I'll disconnect the power because we don't need that. And we'll just check where we are. So we want to have it on the 10 watt scale. Calibrate. So set the calibrate point. Power. We've done power. We can't read power without a dummy load. And it's just over 1.5. So tell you what, we will just adjust. That's good, isn't it? That. Where did I put the trimming tool? Oh, it's hiding. So it's the second one in. It doesn't work like that. You don't adjust SWR. So we need to go back to dummy load. You don't adjust it. You set it. These are adjusted on a dummy load with known power. So we need to set this to 3 onto power. So which is where I got it in the first place. So bang on between the 2 and the 3, 2 and the 4. So that is now correct. If we go on to the 1 watt scale, and I go to low power, I can't get the set calibrate because the power, the radio is only doing 150 milliwatts, and you can see it's reading well under 1 watt. To be honest, we ought to lower that. That's probably fairer. And then on a 100 watt scale, if we go back to 4 watts, well, we'll just have to, again, if you've got full scale deflection of 100 watts, there's 10, so we're reading under half, so that's about right. So deviation, 100 watt, 10 watt, 1 watt, and modulation, which we're not going to touch because we're nothing that's AM. So, and that's probably going to be about right anyway. Does this Capo Panther do AM? I'd have to reset it all, wouldn't I? We've got that. We've got one of those President thingy walkie-talkies. See what socket's on the top. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, we've set this, and it reads a bit slow, doesn't it, on the deviation side of things, but at the end of the day it's not a laboratory instrument. He sent me some bulbs. Now when we bought one of these, it had got bulbs which somebody had fitted, but they don't have bulbs. So if he wants me to fit these, for which there'll be a fee, what they did was to glue them on the top of the meter sideways. But you've got to take the board out, so you've got to take the 3 screws out, take the front off, get the board out, and put the wiring into the printed circuit board by drilling some extra holes. So it's not just something you can bodge in 5 minutes. This now holds this bench up till I get an answer. Now, what I'm going to do is put that on one side, and just for this video, I'm going to look at an SWR meter that Alan put in a box. Now, where did it go? It's in box 24. I'll just go and get that. Right, so Alan sent this meter, which is a Seen Better Days automatic radio. So that looks like it's made for the American market. But you know what? It's actually looks like a trough line meter to me, and I've explained all this before, but we may do it again. So I'm on channel 20. Forward, let's see what we've got. We're into the dummy load. This is our forward setting, and let's see what the reflect is. Is this meter sticky or what? Yeah, the meter's no good on this. It's and you can see that it's actually lost its front. So it's a shame really, because it is a trough line type meter by the looks of it. It does work, but it's not going to be that accurate. It did just say 1.5, which is what we know the aerial is. Oh, no. It said it was 1.5. I wasn't on the aerial, I was on the test kit. Let's just run that test again. That's the wrong screwdriver. I'll just show you what I mean about this. So if we spot another one with it, I'll put this in the SWR meters box, because if I spot one with a good meter, we could do something about it. It's not a trough line, no. So the printed circuit board doesn't have the line on it, so it's a rigid line, but it isn't in a screen trough, so it won't be as accurate as one that was. So it's pretty basic. You've got resistor, capacitor, and diode on there. So it's now dropped to 0. These are the kind of meters that were £6.99 at the time. So we'll run that test again. So that's our input side. This is into our test kit, so we know that it's a dummy load, and so it's a perfect SWR. So let's just do that again. Forward. Let go. Reflect. It's trying to say 1.5, isn't it? Now if we put that into our aerial, it going to say? So forward, reflect. It's struggling, isn't it? So yeah, I think that'll be the repairs department of the SWR meters box. But I thought we'd look at that at the same time, and we have done. Close the video at that. So that has been tuned, as calibrated as I can do. I know what I'd gone to go and fetch and forgot, and that was the AM handheld. Right, so I've got the President Randy here. So I've put the aerial adapter in it. And because this has got CPT AM, so we're in UK mode. Now it's switched to CPT. We'll go to channel 20. So it's on 27205 it says. AM. I don't need any power to it for it's only deviation that needs the power. So glad I didn't press transmit there. I've got it coupled up to the Fidelity 1000. First of all, I'm going to have it into our test set. We're just on battery. I don't know what the battery status is. We'll just see what the power is on the test set. Am I still on picture in picture? Yes, I am. So press transmit. So the test set says it's doing 3.9 watts. So according to this, it's doing 4 watts. So we're back in let's look what the deviation is. I'm going to have to get into the power to do this, but we'll just make a mental note. 1, 2. Oh, we've got to reset because we're in CPT, and I'm not going to reset it, so we'll put it in channel 20 UK. Wallow. It's just coming up to 2. So we'll put this onto power. We're done with the Fidelity 1000, so I'll connect this up instead. Wallow, wallow, wallow. It's about 1.8. So I say it's 0.2 slow. So when that says put 1.8, it's 2. So when it says 2.2, it's peaking at 2.5. And I just can't. I've got that at full. I can't make it do any more. So well, now we're going to AM on this. So it's CPT AM, and let's see what happens when we're going to push the calibrate button. You don't have to calibrate it for the FM one, but you do for the AM one. So calibrate is the center position. Wallow, wallow. So I'm going to just check where we are on our test set, see what the AM mod is on this. So I'm going to have to retune the test set, which is frustrating. 1, 2, wallow, wallow. It's about 90%. 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, that's reading slow. So this is going to be the modulation meter. I'm not expecting it's ever going to use this. Wallow, 1, 2, 1, 2, wallow. I can't get it to read more than that. So it's pretty Mickey Mouse, isn't it, on that? One, two, wallow, 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. Well, it works on FM, but it doesn't work on AM properly. This also has a built-in matcher. So we'll do it with the hand portable. So once again, we'll go into, we've got that off, that's in FM. I'll go back to FM, but we'll keep it on CPT. I'd hate to interfere with UK channels. So what we're going to do, put it in calibrate. Just make sure our SWR's set right. So our SWR on this aerial, I'll make sure I'm on the aerial. No, I'm not, I'm on the dummy load. Right, we'll try and calibrate again because it's going to be different, except it isn't. SWR, it says it's 1.4, which is about right because it was better on the lower channels. But we can use the matcher, and it's a matter of twiddling these while we key up for the best we can get. As you can see, we can get that SWR right down. There we go. And a deviation, what does it say? Wallow. Yeah, 1.8 still, even though it's 2. So there we are. That's the best we can do with that. I'll await the customer's email. We're not doing anything else on this bench today. That's the one and only customer job booked in. We're going to be doing tomorrow's video today, or part. We're going to do the exploration while Mark's here of unusual Team Maxi 90. Is it 90 3-channel handheld? So thanks for watching the Jesan. You'll never discover whether I ended up having to fit lamps to it or not, but at least we've done our best with it. Okay, so the next day the customers got back to me, and we've decided against doing the lamps. I did say to them they didn't come with those, and the confusion's probably arisen because the one I showed on my video, the one I'd bought off eBay, had these lamps retrofitted, because it means taking the board out and putting it in. And at the end of the day, it would then not be original. I don't think that helps matters. How does this go together then? Not that way round. That way round. So we'll send him his lamps back. We'll put these quite small screws in, and we'll do a final test to make sure it still works today. As soon as it worked yesterday, we'll move on to this unusual handheld I'm going to be showing. There's no hum. That can go back to the customer. So not something we normally do, so thanks for watching. The Jesan SWR38.